What's up, everybody? We're back here on FreeCodeCamp.org with another daily coding challenge for September 26th. This one's called Caught Speeding. Given an array of numbers representing the speed at which vehicles were observed traveling, so that's our speeds parameter, and a number representing the speed limit, that's our limit parameter, return an array with two items: the number of vehicles that were speeding, followed by the average amount beyond the speed limit of those vehicles. Okay, I think that's pretty straightforward. I don't have any big questions regarding that. If no vehicles were speeding, return an array with two items, both 0. And we see our test cases here. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. It doesn't look like any of the speeds are decimal numbers or floats, but we would, in the average, the speed average, return a decimal value. Okay, so while I think of this, I can set up some variables. How about our number of speeders and our sum? Since we're getting an average, we'll want the sum, and we'll return an array. So default will be returning num and sum, I guess. Like if our code doesn't end up doing anything, this right here will have us return 0, 0. What we can do is iterate through the speeds, right? Loop through speeds. If the speed is over the limit, then we want to do something. We want to iterate num, and we also want to add that speed to our sum variable so we can get a rolling summation of all the speeds. Because to calculate the average amount beyond the speed limit of the vehicles we find, we'll need the sum. Then, before we return, we'll have to find the average amount beyond the speed limit of these vehicles. So we would take sum, we would divide it by the number of vehicles we found, and we want the amount of speed above the speed limit, so we would find the difference. So we would get the average, and that would be the average speed amongst all the speeders, and then we would trim off the limit. So, if the average speed, like if the speed limit is 65, the average speed of all speeders is 80, for instance, then we would subtract the limit from 80 and we would get 15. On average, all the speeders went 15 miles per hour above the speed limit. So let's loop through the speeds, right? So we are looping through all the speeds, incrementing I with each iteration. If the speeds at this item is greater than the limit, then we're going to want to do something. We're going to want to increment our num variable. That is, hey, we found a speeder. Let's add 1 to the amount of speeders we found. This would be the same as doing this or this postfix increment just means that if we used this and we consoled this out, we would get the current num, not the added. If we wanted the added too, it would be a prefix increment. And now if it was 5 before it hit line 7, we're going to console out 6. But in this case, the value is 5 before line 7. We console out 5. We add 1, making it 6. And then the next increment, it'll be 6. So just to give you a little more insight into what that incrementing operator is doing for us. So we add to our count of speeders. And now we want to add to the sum speeds at I. And so now we have a running summation of all the speeds. And so, we have someone that went 50 miles per hour and the speed limit's 40. So we add, now sum is 50. Then we have another person that went 51 miles per hour. We add that, now it's 101. We're adding up the total speed of all the speeders here so that we can get the average. So what I think we can do is that we can use a ternary operator here and check to see if we have any speeders. If we don't have any speeders, then we can just return this default base case 0, 0. We don't need to worry about it. But if we did have speeders, then we're going to want to return the number of speeders along with that little formula that we cooked up, the average minus the limit. And I think that will do it for us. Can I do it on this line? No. Let's see if I'm right here. Clean up the comment. Think about it for a second. Hold your breath. Yes, this is the solution to the coding challenge. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time and attention. If you like this video, if it helped you solve this challenge or gave you something extra to think about, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I keep doing videos like this as much as I can. Pretty soon I'm going to move into doing LeetCode problems. I'm preparing to start doing technical interviews pretty soon, so I'm going to try to crush through as many LeetCode problems as I can, targeting specific high-value ones. So be on the lookout for that. But until then, we'll be doing daily coding challenges just for some little extra practice. I think these are pretty fun. And good luck on your coding journey, my friends. Talk at you later.